Hello, this is Murdoch Cousin 93, and this is going to be a Pretty Little Rainbow Live episode 44, 45, and 46 review. Now, just before I get on, if I do sound weird, I'm sorry. I did just get sick over the past 2 days, or yesterday actually, so my voice sounds weird, I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to get this episode review out of the way, because it's one of my days off, and also that the episode is going to come out tonight, and a 3-episode review would be pretty weird. So, besides that, let us get on with the dual episode review. Now, it is episode 45, and basically this is sort of there is a Prism show in this episode, but the fact that it is basically the consistency of Hiro, Bell, Ku, Rei, and Kazuki sort of makes it that there's only like one real total thing I can really get out of this episode, and that's that Hiro performed Hijiri's jumps. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm thinking that Hijiri is his father after this for some odd reason, that he's able to perform his jumps, and that the fact that I don't know, it just really strikes me as weird. I don't know if it's basically that, actually, let's throw that theory out the window. I just think that Hiro was just, he liked Hijiri as a Prism star, and sort of was mad, it was sort of weird for him that he wasn't able to watch that Prism King show, and sort of just realize that it was just weird, you know? But regardless of that, he performed 4 jumps. He performed Starlight Express at the end. And this whole episode, besides that, was Norizuki enacting his plan from the last episode, sort of trying to stay it concrete that Prism Stone wouldn't be able to perform in the Over the Rainbow session, and that Dear Crown was going to win. I mean, not Dear Crown. Edo Rose was going to win because June was also excluded. So, I don't know. It was a weird thing to think about in the first place, and maybe it was too late to introduce a plot point like that, because it all ended in one episode. It ended it was the beginning, or it was the end of 44 into the end of 45, which it was sort of weird, because, for one thing, Norizuki's plan was probably never going to work in the first place. It did, for a bit, but I knew it wasn't going to hold, just for the fact that, why do we have only, I believe it was like 6 episodes left, and you would do something like that? I don't know, it was just weird. And secondly, that, how did Rei even, make this whole entire plan work, where it was going to catch Norizuki off guard after a Prism show, and also had Momo catch one of the board members that he probably didn't even know, that he just looked from a press conference and realized, oh, he's connected to Norizuki, so I'm going to capture him, he's going to tell me everything, and that's about that. So, I don't know, I thought that was weird how that happens, but again, hey, it worked out in the end, so kudos. And basically that is the end of the review for episode 44, or 45. So let's move on to the episode review for episode 46, which 46 was a sort of different episode. Now, in the form of not being one Prism show, but there was 2, and there was 2 storylines. I think that there was 2 Prism shows sort of to tie together loose ends in storylines, since they have almost 0 time to have any more character development between any of the characters. Like, Otoha sort of gathered herself, mustered her courage, and basically, at the beginning, everyone was moving away from her because they had different problems, and Otoha was sort of scared that she wasn't going to be able to perform a Prism show, but at the end of it all, she did, and at the same time was able to perform 5 jumps in a row. And evolve Femini for the final time, which I think this is the final time, because I don't think they're going to do any of these characters who perform Prism shows during the Over the Rainbow session will probably not have another Prism show in the series. So this was sort of their last hurrah to sort of say, hey, I'm here, and that's it. So Otaha performing your Prism show was amazing. I liked it. It was basically Vanity Cologne, and I think they're going to use the same songs for every character, but the fact that she performed 5 jumps was amazing. Now, we move on to the on portion, and the on portion was sort of a talk with Wakana, and then we see Kazuki, and they talk a little bit, and then what happens is then On goes out and performs her Prism show, and she also performs 5 jumps, which is amazing. Again, expected from On, since she is part of the, what I think is the, like, Aurora Dream group. I don't know. It's just the fact that they're all together, and they were the first group introduced, and they sort of have an Aira, Mion, and Rizumu type of feel to them. And just, I don't know. I just felt it was obvious that was going to happen. And the evolution and all this other stuff. But again, it was amazing nonetheless, and kudos to the directors of the show to be able to fit 2 Prism shows into an episode and not make them feel condensed at all. I felt they were just like normal Prism shows. They weren't like condensed, where they sort of rushed, where I felt like they rushed the jumps when Rine and June were performing together, and some of the jumps' names sort of were elongated or shortened, and it just felt weird. But again, that's basically the end of the episode, because then after they show On, they show Ito, and they say Ito's next. So, I don't know. I feel like it was good for them to do one episode where it was like, okay, we're going to have a storyline, but then the storyline's automatically squashed, and then move on to the Over the Rainbow session, where then there's going to be 2 Prism shows an episode. Come 47, there's going to be 2 Prism shows. They do, at the beginning, they have, during the preview, they have an episode. They have a scene where they're showing Ito and everyone's together, in the Ito storyline, as I would call it. So, basically, that's going to wrap up the loose ends for Ito, and then we're going to have a Wakana, and we're going to see Wakana's parents, and they're probably going to have, their father's going to be like, oh, you're a good Prism star, and I was sorry for all that. So, it's going to be quite interesting to see how this episode will turn out, considering they did the story pretty well in this episode 46, and we'll just see how 47 works out tonight. So again, this has been a Pretty Rhythm Rainbow Live episode 45 and 46 dual episode review. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys later.